anomalous items 251 through 300. So let's make life nice and easy and basically just get started. Alrighty. One, an average USB flash drive that, when attempts are made to insert it into a computer, always be inverted as to prevent itself from being plugged in. Date of recovery 12/09/2016. Location of recovery Hillsborough County Library, Florida. Current status in storage. See, why can't they all be nice and simple like this instead of just redacting the hell out of everything? All right. Item description. The website What would happen if I was shot dot blank. When accessed, it generates an accurate 3D model of the user, which can then be shot by clicking any part of the body. Date of recovery 07/01/2017. Location of recovery not applicable. Discovered following a Reddit post on the Today I Learned subforum. Could be a subreddit, but okay. Current status domain blocked from all major internet service providers. Item description a rubber ball, 5 centimeters in diameter, slowly rolls toward the closest living human. Running it through a metal detector showed no signs of electronic parts. Date of recovery 07/02/2017. Location of recovery the break room, rolling around the feet of an annoyed personnel. Current status in a small glass container, duct taped to Dr. Rob's desk. Item description a nuclear warhead that constantly plays dubstep. Songs are original to the warhead and played at 95 decibels. Date of recovery 05/24/2011. Location of recovery classified in conjunction with United Kingdom authorities. Current status installed as Site 25 on-site nuclear safeguard. Note: before containment, a number of songs were produced. A number of songs produced were released online, crediting DJ Dirty Nuke as their creator. We would like to speak with whoever is responsible for their release. The songs themselves need no containment. Dr. Wall. Item description: the standard dinner fork that, when used, will cause whatever it has been stabbed into to transform into a medium rare cooked steak. That sounds amazing. Date of recovery 07/26/17. Location of recovery Tampa, Florida. Current status in a standard storage locker at Area 108. Notes: during a low-level containment breach, item was taken out of containment by an escaped D class and used on several agent. Class D was terminated and item returned to storage. Item description: pots of paint, pigment of which usually only visually stimulates the cone cells of the eye. The effect causes it to appear constantly dimly lit and to become gray when viewed by any direction other than head on. Further effects include headaches and eye aches after prolonged exposure. Uh, don't need I don't need any bot accounts. Thank you. Date of recovery 29/03/2017. Location of recovery Newcastle, England. Current status research is underway on utilizing this item as camouflage and on synthesizing larger amounts of the pigment. SCP-294 to be used for this purpose when free. Notes: interesting this one. Somehow the effect also works when the pigment is viewed through a photo. I have no idea how. Dr. Hagemeister. Item description a CD with the song In the Sky by English rock band Oasis. When the line Before You Start Falling plays, any objects not touching the ground in a 6-meter circle around the source of the music will immediately fall to the ground at a speed of 5.4 meters per second. This effect extends to the edge of Earth's atmosphere. Interesting. Date of recovery 07/06/2017. Location of recovery Creation Records Warehouse, London, UK. Current status in storage, accessible if needed to contain flying anomalies. That, yeah, that sounds incredibly useful. Item description. An otherwise unknown subspecies of Pinus pumila, Siberian dwarf pine. The wood of the species functions as a superconductor with a resistance of practically zero. Date of recovery 09/13/1992. Location of recovery redacted, Siberia. Current status due to the species' isolated location and low population, only minimal containment is necessary. Currently, Outpost 18 of Site 72 has been set up to monitor the only known population. Okay, this is something that should be brought into general containment, into like their general arboreal containment area. It should be bred, and then they should use it as a superconductor. There's numerous different SCP. There's numerous different SCP items where they're attempting to create room temperature superconductors because those basically don't exist. So why wouldn't you spread the species so that you can harvest room temperature superconductor, right? Item description. An ornate face, which, when observed, slightly corrupts any medium containing information about it. This extends to memory. Scale of corruption is proportional with duration of viewing. Date of recovery 15/11/2000. Location of recovery presently unidentified. Current status currently in storage in an opaque box. Notes: at least 20 copies of this text are to be kept at all times. On the off chance that the vase is viewed, we can piece together the entry from fragments of each copy. Dr. Hagmeister. Sorry. Item description. A small wooden cup that fills with sulfuric acid if anyone within a 2-meter radius states Philip is coming over from Spain. The cup is not damaged by the substance. Date of recovery 02/07/1982. Location of recovery Lisbon, Portugal. Current status in storage within Site 49. Notes: following a series of incidents regarding our colleague Phillips' transfer from Spanish Site 47 and a significant amount of acid burns, one is to be allowed to access the wooden cup without explicit clearance from myself, Dr. Eco. However, to engage automated recalibration. Maybe. Okay. Good lord. A humanoid femur bone. Item description: a humanoid femur bone that renders all descriptions of it upside down. Effect extends to human speech. What? Date of recovery undetermined. Assumed grandfathered in from predecessor organization. Location of recovery undetermined. Current status in storage. Electronic documentation is accompanied by an AIC unit, which will restate affected descriptions and thereby reverse the item's effect. Notes: efforts to identify how or why the item arrived in Foundation containment have been hindered by a lack of substantial documentation, most likely due to the absence of artificial general intelligence technology in Foundation predecessors. Current hypothesis: the object predates human record keeping. All right. Item description: a slab of concrete with the words, "Please step here" on blank, blank, blank to prevent the apocalypse. The item itself currently possesses higher than average Hume readings, but has no apparent effects on reality. Date of recovery 03/05/2005. Location of recovery taken from a sidewalk in Lubbock, Texas. Current status in storage. Plans for testing the item on blank, blank, blank have been approved. Item description: a Carl Thompson rainbow base. Okay, let me make sure. When any song of the band Primus is played, a voice is heard saying, "Primus sucks." The effect is present regardless of whether the song was played perfectly or incomplete. Date of recovery 05/02/2006. Location of recovery a music store in Washington, D.C. Current status in storage. Item description: A large bathroom mirror. Anyone who looks into the mirror has a strong urge to have a staring contest with their reflection. The urge subsides once the individual blinks. Date of recovery 09/09/2017. Location of recovery pawn shop in Dallas, Texas. Current status in storage. Notes: a cloth should be kept over the mirror to prevent the anomalous property. Doesn't seem like it needed its own note. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we got. Information about the object: a bowl of spaghetti that, when seen, changes all information typed or written into poorly formulated Italian. Okay. Day of acquiring such an object 03/01/2017. Recovery plate Guam, United States territory. Current Eaton. Well, there you go. All right. Item description 13 Russian Matryoshka dolls that all mutually fit inside of each other. Date of recovery 02/10/1923. Location of recovery 13 kilometers northeast of Moscow, Russia. Current status. Ooh. 2 were shattered by a reckless researcher. Reprimanded. Remains showed no anomalous properties. 11 on display at Site 13's anomalous items wing. Item description: a blue backpack. When this backpack comes into contact with a human, its weight increases by approximately 379.5 kilograms. The backpack is currently 6,002.18 kilograms. Good Lord. Date of recovery 18/06/2017. Location of recovery a community elementary school in Gale, Ohio. Current status in process of being transported to Site 325. Notes: by God, the recovery team still hasn't gotten it to the site. They've been hauling that thing from Gale to here for the past year now. Turns out automated contact still counts. Junior researcher Days. Item description: an audio file named bells.mp3 plays a random song on bells each time it is opened. Upon listening to the audio copy in its entirety, the viewer will hear that exact song heard in the clip every time a bell rings within the area it is audible to the subject. This only affects the viewer, and it lasts for an indefinite amount of time, unless an amnestic is administered or the subject is rendered deaf. Weird. Date of recovery 04/03/2016. Location of recovery recovered from a laptop in London, England. Current status stored on a computer at Site 7. Item description a soda can. Analysis indicates that the ratio of the circumference of its bases to the diameter of its bases, otherwise known as the value of pi, is roughly equal to 4.282983. Date of recovery 2017/09/19. Did that that is that's the dumbest alternate format I've seen a date put in on this so far. Location of recovery Nishinomiya, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Current status in storage. So a can that just sort of generally breaks the laws of physical reality. That's pretty sure that was pretty straightforward. Item description: a VHS tape with a recording of the music video for "Once in a Lifetime" by the band Talking Heads. The segment will the segment with the repeated line "Same as I ever was" continues from time code 157 for 2 hours of non-repeating footage, with David Byrne repeating the line and looking increasingly distraught as hands grip his head. Ugh. Data recovery 17/03/1980. Location of recovery Chicago, Illinois. Current status general media storage. Notes: Crew who worked on the original filming were interviewed. They all agree that no extra footage of the segment was shot. Anomalous items 271 through 280. Item description: a long egg reversal machine resembling resembling a tabletop sausage grinder. When a long egg is introduced into the hopper, the top of the device and the crank is turned, the long egg is consumed and a series of normal raw chicken eggs, complete with shell, emerge from the lower chute. Date of recovery 10/9/2017. Location of recovery Royal Wootton Bassett, Wiltshire, England. Interesting. Current status in Site 17 Culinary Experimentation Kitchens. I, I don't know where you would have enough long eggs for this to mean anything, but okay. All right. Item description: common raven, Corvus corax, that, when viewed for prolonged periods, causes subjects to temporarily perceive text as passages from the poem The Raven by American writer Edgar Allan Poe. The effect roughly lasts between 15 minutes to 1 hour. Several researchers have reported hearing the raven call them Edgar, though none have the name Edgar. Date of recovery 05/23/2016. Location of recovery Boston, Massachusetts. Current status in Site 66's aviary. Item description: a VHS tape with an adhesive sticker that reads "O5 Fools," written in black marker, containing an hour and 20 minutes of footage. The contents of the tape direct former and current members of the O5 Council tied up and being tortured. Sorry, depict current and former members of the O5 Council tied up and being tortured by robed figures wearing masks, demanding to know where is our God before fading into static. Tape ends with a final still of the disemboweled corpses of the council members and the message "soon." Members of the council report no unusual activity. Date of recovery 12/7/1981. Location of recovery Site 01. Current status in the possession of Mobile Task Force Alpha 1, Red Right Hand, to aid in an investigation ordered by the O5 Council. Item description: a collection of 216 fountain pens. Each pen, when used to write, will deploy the user's blood in place of ink. Location of recovery Grave, the Netherlands. Current status: each pen has been clearly labeled and is pending approval for use by the Foundation's Demonology Division. Makes sense. And it's not nearly as cruel as the Harry Potter one where it literally etches into the back of your hand either. Interesting. Item description: a heavily burned corpse of a nearly hairless primate with a highly developed brain and nervous system. No writ marker of any description or Rand Peck label was found within the creature's DNA, suggesting that it was either owned by and if suggesting that it was either owned by and if sapient, living as a sticker man and or a pilot. The skull is fractured in a way not consistent with energy or siphon weaponry, and thus any further research was halted. Ah, date of recovery 13/7 AH, null cycle. Location of recovery and an above ground heated mineral disposal device in sector blank blank of New India. Current status determined to contain illegal implications and thus was transported to the blank's on-site incinerator. All in-depth and detailed records were secured in LCON 4 level harmful media storage. Okay. Okay, so this is an anomalous item either from a different dimension or from significantly in our future. My guess would be it's an alternate dimension where a different dominant species is the one that runs the Foundation. Uh, Probably non-primate in species origin. Item description: an external hard drive that, when plugged into any computer not housed within a Lenovo brand shell, contains only a collection of random photos of cats, rendering it impossible to add files to the drive or move, rename, copy, edit, or delete the photos. The pictures are different every time the hard drive is unplugged and plugged back in. When used with a computer housed within the Lenovo brand shell, it works like a normal external hard drive and shows no anomalous properties. Date of recovery: 02/06/2005. Location of recovery: a house in San Diego, California. Current status: in storage. Item description: preserved rat carcass, Rattus norvegicus, wrapped in black adhesive tape and pierced with several dozen cocktail sticks. When held, grants the holder complete and perfect knowledge of the circumstances surrounding the recent death of Arthur Long. Okay. Date of recovery: 13/04/1956. Location of recovery: the residence of Maria Carney, fiancée of Mr. Long, also recently deceased. Current status: missing. Interesting. Item description: a wooden barrel that, when opened, manifests a mummified capuchin monkey, Sebene, in a clown outfit. The cadaver rapidly decomposes into dust and ash when the barrel is closed. Date of recovery: 09/12/2006. Location of recovery: Blank, Missouri. Current status: in storage. Item description: a large NASA T-shirt. The stars depicted on the shirt emit very small amounts of solar radiation and light via an anomalous manner. Date of recovery: 14/2/2012. Location of recovery: Blank, Virginia. Current status: framed in researcher Carroll's office. Item description: a document describing spontaneous pattern annihilation, a phenomenon that has not been observed in reality. Location of recovery: Site 02, blank apartment. Date of recovery: 2018/06/01. Current status: storage. Anomalous items 281 through 290. Item description: a severed, mummified human foot that randomly causes visual hallucinations during observation. Individuals will see an emaciated humanoid entity that has a large mouth for a face, with multiple tongues licking the foot. Affected subjects report feeling uncomfortable or uneasy, and that the entity is staring at them, despite reportedly lacking eyes. The effect lasts until the subject turns away, or after roughly a minute when observing it. Oh, I don't think I would want to observe it for a minute before turning away. Date of recovery: 5/12/1998. Location of recovery: blank, Peru. Current status: in containment. Item description: a nail used in the left hand of researcher Yeshua during execution by blank alliance against the blank for blank, that when used to puncture a human hand will cause no bleeding. The wound retains all other negative health effects. Not going to weigh in on this one. Date of recovery: redacted. Location of recovery: blank, mid-transport to blank tomb. Current status: in storage. Item description: a copy of the book blank that doesn't appear on any reflective surface. Individual pages do not retain anomalous behavior. Date of recovery: sometime in 2015. Sorry about that. Location of recovery: blank, Pennsylvania. Current status: storage. Item description: an orange blank brand Phillips head screwdriver that, when inserted into a screw, will always screw it outwards, regardless of the direction of twisting. Interesting. Date of recovery: 8/6/2016. Location of recovery: inside an abandoned blank brand toolbox in blank, New Jersey. Current status: in storage. Note: toolbox contains space for at least 7 other tools. Item description: a black Sharpie pen that, when used to write, Instead, hovers toward the nearest wall and draws on it horizontal marks representing the heights of all humans within a 10-meter radius. Date of recovery 8/9/2016. Location of recovery blank, Oregon. Current status in storage. Item description a recipe for meatloaf, which will always result in a meat free dish, regardless of ingredients used. To date, this has included tofu, salads, and egg free pastries. All right, then. Date of recovery 2/15/2007. Location of location of discovery family cookbook in Holmes County, Ohio. Current status in storage. Item description a photosynthetic red-footed tortoise, Helenoidus carbonarius. Date of recovery 7/13/2017. Location of recovery Newark, New Jersey. Current status in animal containment. Okay. Item description a gold-mantled ground squirrel genetically identical to an artichoke. All right then. Date of recovery 12/12/2012. Location of recovery Billings, Montana. Current status in animal containment. Item description a digital folder holding exactly 3,000 copies of a single JPEG of a cartoon skeleton. The folder cannot be copied, deleted, or edited in any way. It can, however, be moved onto a hard drive. Looking at the folder causes a large amount of stress and fear for the user. Date of recovery 9/13/2017. Location of recovery public computer at blank library in blank Maine. Current status backed up onto Dr. Blank's workstation. Item description an earbud with a missing jack that transmits SCP blank's date and geographical location of recovery in Morse code. Date of recovery 12/01/1999. Location of recovery Vancouver, Canada. Current status in storage. Note SCP blank possesses anomalous effects relating to radio waves. Oh my gosh. Anomalous items 291 through 300. Item description an abnormally notable piece of 2x4 wood. When test subjects are asked to randomly select a wood board from a set of wood boards that include the object will always be chosen. When questioned on their reasoning, subjects report a non-specific sense of notability. Date of recovery 07/12/2009. Location of recovery Springfield, Illinois. Current status in storage. Item description. Oh, sorry. Item description: one cow cadaver. Cadaver shows no anomalous properties other than the location of its discovery. Date of recovery: sometime in the 2000s. Location of recovery: South Pole Aitken Basin, the Moon. Current status: remains in location of discovery. Okay. All right. Item description: a single double AA battery that possesses an unlimited amount of energy despite extensive use. Um, I think that was not intentional. I think they just fucked up writing that. I think it's probably supposed to be a single AA battery instead of a single double AA battery. Date of recovery 03/12/2018. Location of recovery a Prometheus Labs facility located in Iceland. Hmm. Current status in storage. Note retrieved by Mobile Task Force Omega 20, Thought Police, as part of Operation Red Thunder. I think there was an Omega 20 in the list we looked at. Item description a plain composition notebook that is ordinary in every way, with the exception of the conversion tables in the back. The table contains conversions that are impossible in real life, such as joules to decibels per second. When calculated in the notebook, the calculations work out as a sensible and reliable manner. When transferring to other media, the mathematics abruptly fall apart making all of the equations false. Date of recovery 9/10/2018. Location of recovery the Engineering Department Office of blank University. Current status located in extra dimensional research laboratory for use in calculations. Item description a snow globe that, when shaken, causes snow to fall within 3 meters of the user for a period of 20 to 30 minutes. Effects still occur in locations where snow is irregular. Date of recovery 01/18/2016. Location of recovery blank, Pennsylvania. Current status storage. May be used during winter holidays to improve morale with a wintry atmosphere. Item description an unmarked wooden box of 100 steel paper clips. The objects, when bent, return to their proper shape and will automatically link together when placed in clumps. Date of recovery 03/26/2005. Location of recovery. Sorry. Abandoned Staples shipping crate in Sacramento, California. Current status in storage. Item description a 19th century Iron Maiden that plays Iron Maiden from Iron Maiden's debut album, Iron Maiden, at approximately 100 decibels when closed. This sound is only audible within the device itself. Date of recovery 6/9/2017. Date of recovery in the cargo compartment of a van discovered in a parking lot of a bar located in blank, North Carolina. The owner of the bus is unknown. At the time of the discovery, an Iron Maiden cover band known as blank was scheduled to play the venue on the following day. No solid link between the vehicle, either band, or the venue can be ascertained at this time. Current status in storage. Item description an aluminum thermos that, when filled with water, will begin emitting a low voltage electric current. Good Lord. When empty or filled with any other substance, the object will instead emit low frequencies of microwave radiation. Date of recovery 1932. Okay. Location of recovery Beijing, China. Current status in storage. Item description a washing machine that, upon starting a cycle, becomes transparent for the entirety of the cycle. The laundry remains fully visible. Date of recovery sometime in the 2000s. Location of recovery blank, Virginia. Current status in storage. Item description a compass that always points to the closest human with a B positive blood type. Date of recovery 6/5/1980 something. Location of recovery a hospital in blank, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Good Lord. Current status in site blank's infirmary. Alrighty. Alrighty. I think that will do it for now. We're going to end this here, and good God, I'm all over the place today. All right, we're going to end this here, and I will see you all again next time for the next set of anomalous items. Bye.